Today on Cooking for Your Kidneys, the Quick Tips edition, we're going to talk about using a cooking method to enhance flavors without adding anything else, especially those things that might be bad for us. What we'll be looking to achieve is that crispiness or that crunch we get on foods. Let's think about a crispy loaf of bread and how much that tastes different than, say, a soft white loaf of bread. Other examples would be grilled meat or seafood. You get that little crispy brown part on the outside, a little crunch. Now, it doesn't have to be burnt or brown. It just has to achieve that little crispness. So we're not looking for a color, basically, but just a little crispness on the outside of the food. This is something called the Maillard reaction. That's not really important that you know the name, but it is important to know that there was a lot of research done that shows that this kind of reaction creates a lot of flavors in food. And it happens when there's a simple reduction in the moisture on the outside of the food and it's cooked at a high temperature. The reaction is something with the amino acids and the protein in the food and the sugars. And that creates just these complex flavors based on those proteins in the particular food. So how do we do this, right? Well, let me give you some examples. Maybe not ones right away that we can all use, but for example, when they tell you to salt meat and leave it out at room temperature, what they're asking you to do is utilize the sodium to draw the proteins out and reduce the moisture on the outside of the food so you get that crispness along with the high heat. Another example would be chicken wings. Believe it or not, the best way, in my opinion, especially with roasting, is to leave the chicken wings uncovered in the refrigerator overnight to reduce the moisture on the outside layer and then roast them in the oven at high temperatures to get that crispiness along with the moisture in the middle. So the moisture leaves on the outside. Now, many of you should be saying to me, hey, we can't all eat meat. That's bad. A lot too much protein. So how about we use an example that I think we can all eat. Let's talk about roasting vegetables, as I talked about roasting chicken wings. The idea is to use high heat, put it in the oven, flat sheet pan, so they're not on top of each other. So the outsides of the vegetables get a nice crispness to them, and the insides will retain some of that moisture. Okay, just keep in mind, there are other ways to cook vegetables. We used to boil them, which would actually lose a lot of the nutrients in those vegetables, which can be good if we're trying to reduce phosphorus in certain ones. But it also loses some of the good stuff. We can steam them, we can microwave them, all very fast and easy, but there's a very different flavor that comes from those techniques than the roasting technique. First of all, if we, compared to boiling, we don't lose all the nutrients. And secondly, we don't have to add as much sodium, which is salt, which is what we do for kind of blandish vegetables. Now, if we were to take those beautifully roasted vegetables that have the Maillard reaction on the outside for a flavor boost, and then add maybe something from another episode like grated Parmigiano-Reggiano cheese, we've created a wonderful side dish or main meal that has multiple levels of flavor beyond just the vegetable, which we never added anything in opposition to a restrictive diet. As a reminder, you don't have to burn the vegetables. They don't have to have that real dark roasted brown or black coloring to them. They just have to get a little bit crisp. So I hope you've enjoyed this little tip, and I hope you make good use of it. It will really enhance the flavors of your food. Thanks for watching. You can find more information like this in my book, Cooking for Your Kidneys. It contains full recipes and complete nutritional data, along with some food science and more cooking techniques like this. In addition, it'll provide you with an introduction to chronic kidney disease for those of us who are just beginning our process.